Hey folks, I'm attorney Roger P. Foley, and I was just listening to Law and Crime, the podcast. I had to pull over because I was watching the case that I commented on just yesterday on Law and Crime of State of Florida versus David Hartung. Unbelievable cross-examination. The gist of the case is that this gentleman, David Hartung, has been charged with the murder of his mother and his two stepbrothers. They allege that it's over money or about his religion, Wicca, and he'd use a Ouija board, and the Ouija board told him that this was the time and the moon was a certain way, and he was supposed to have, committed this just crazy story of murder. He murdered they allege that he murdered his own mother, that he killed his stepbrothers by cutting their throats and shooting them. So what's the evidence in the case? Well, as I'm commenting on Law and Crime yesterday, I'm going, I don't know what the evidence is. They're saying that there's a snitch, that while he was in jail, that he had a conversation with his cellmate or his podmate. And his podmate said, oh, yes, he told me that he committed the murders and he did this because of, money, and that he stole $500,000 out of a safe in the house and, insurance money and all of these kinds of things. Well, as the case was unfolding yesterday, we were getting a little bit of evidence. Well, the first thing you realize, okay, this is just funny. The crime scene tech, the one that collects DNA and samples and anything that needs to be analyzed, she gets arrested from Escambia County Police, Sheriff's Office for what? For stealing drugs out of the evidence room from various crime scenes. Can you imagine? But she's still on the stand testifying. Never seen it, never even heard of it, right? Obviously, that's a big problem for them, right? The prosecution says there's DNA. Well, of course there's DNA. Mr. Hartung goes and visits his mom on Tuesdays and various times, throughout the month. His stepbrothers live there. He visits. He said that he was there on the Tuesday before the murder and had dinner with them. So first problem with the prosecution that just jumps out at you is, oh my goodness, their crime scene tech was arrested and fired, charged with drug trafficking for stealing the drugs from the police evidence room. Does it get any better than this? Like, talk about juicy stuff. So now they say, dun, 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 like his cellmate, he confessed to his cellmate, right? So I'm thinking, well, what did he say, right? Well, in the opening, they're saying, well, he confessed and he said that the reason was financial and it had to do with his religion, his Wicca religion, which is like a pagan religion. And so I'm saying, well, a lot of it comes down to this, right? But yeah, I mean, what does this podmate have to benefit from? Well, he was facing a life sentence. The judge gave him 30 years because of his cooperation. And now he may even get less time. And he's in prison for attempted murder. And he's a 6 or 7 time convicted felon. You think there's a reason to lie, prosecution? Do you think? So what happens? Cross-examination happens, and this woman from Escambia County does an outstanding job. It's surgical. It's like she's got a scalpel and she's just dissecting this guy. It's great. She goes over each piece. Sir, you gave a deposition. She starts off. You said you're a convicted felon, correct? Yes. 6 or 7 times you've been a convicted felon. Yes. You're currently, in prison for attempted murder. Yes. You've had crimes of dishonesty that you were a convicted felon of, right? Obviously, you'd lied in past, and crimes of dishonesty. Yes. Okay, do you remember giving a deposition? Yes. And you remember saying that when I asked you the same question, or defense counsel asked you the same question, that 2 or 3 times you'd been convicted? Yeah, well, 2 or 3 times is different than 6 or 7, right? Yeah. Okay, so then he starts to say, well, he told me this and he told me that. Well, she starts to ask him questions about discovery. And discovery, you all know, is information that the person, a defendant, gets from his attorney. It's all the evidence that the state has against you. And he says that he never saw the discovery, but then he talks about the discovery and he says that, Mr. Hartung had tried to show it to him. And it's just dissection. It is just great cross-examination, great legal work. I'm so excited I had to pull over. So what's left of this case, right? You had the prosecution tell the jury in the beginning, we have DNA. So what? Like, the guy goes to his mom's house all the time. Like, they have dinner every Tuesday night. Of course there's DNA in the house. He's been there. He stays there, right? Like, duh, like he comes over all the time and visits his mom. He says that he loves his mom. Well, he is interviewed by police at least 2 times for hours. And he maintains his innocence, and he talks, and there's, okay, his demeanor's slow, and he says, no, I would never do that to my mother. But everyone thinks that this is going to harm him because, well, he shouldn't have talked. Granted, as a defense attorney, you never want your client to talk, just lawyer, please. However, this guy talks for hours, and he maintains his innocence. Well, some people are going to say, well, he was so calm. That's not enough to convict, right? So then they say, oh, a neighbor saw him or believes that they saw him leave around the proximate time of the murder. Does anyone know what time the murder was, right? Can a forensic pathologist narrow it down to, oh, it happened at 5:36 p.m. on a Tuesday? No. Maybe they can get it within 8 to 12 hours, like, state of Florida, Escambia County, what are you thinking? Maybe you should put some evidence together. You have a crime scene tech who's on drugs that you're charging her with drug trafficking. She's been fired from the police department. You have a detective that's like, yeah, his demeanor was, I would be jumping up and down if it was my mother had been killed, and I would be, well, he's being told by a detective that his mom, he doesn't know how they're dead. Well, the detective ultimately shares. Well, everyone reacts different, right? You tell me something sad. Maybe I put my head down and I'm sad. Maybe I start crying. Maybe I fall on the floor and I'm overly, not overly, but I'm a very dramatic person. It all depends on the person. We have there's another part of the case. That a witness comes in and says, yeah, the brothers, it didn't seem like they got along that great. Well, yeah, there's like a decade difference in age, right? So, this guy's 60 years old. They're in their 40s or late 40s. There's no case. Like, how the hell does this get charged? This is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. The criminal justice system. Yes, there's an argument. Well, who else would do it? What would be the motive? Yes. What's his motive? He's not even in the insurance policy, right? The mom had written him out of the insurance policy and said, listen, I really love him, but he has his own financial means. My other 2 sons, they don't. So anything I have, my insurance policy, I'm going to leave it to them to kind of help take care of them. One of my sons is slow mentally. He doesn't even know that he's not in the will. There's no evidence that he even knows that. Right? Or that he doesn't even, it's just crazy. Like, as I'm listening to it, as a trial attorney and as a guest speaker on Law and Crime, by the way, the best show online, the best show on television, breaks down an analysis. It shows you the trial live. It has guest speakers that are experts in the field talking about the case. And we're all sitting there going, what case? What case? They don't have a weapon. What their motive is? Maybe he wanted to get money from them. Maybe it's because of his religion. What? Like, there's no evidence. Oh, he had his DNA stuff. Yeah. When you ask them during the police interrogations, yeah, I go see my mom on Tuesdays. We have dinner. Sometimes more often, sometimes less, but usually on Tuesdays I go over there after work and that kind of thing. Oh, what? So one guy said, the brothers didn't seem to be getting along. A lot of brothers don't get along. That doesn't mean that they're ready to kill each other. Oh, well, there's money involved. Okay. So, yeah, usually there might be an inheritance, but what are they, this guy's got a job. He's 60 years old. He's got a job. He works full time. Like, he's got money in the bank. What is going on, Florida? So I just wanted to say the defense did an outstanding job. They just cross-examined with a scalpel. exactly what happened. Oh my goodness. I got to tell you, I mean, look at me. I'm pulled over on the side of the road because here we are again with another case where someone is just trying, well, he must have done it. I mean, we don't know else who would have done it. You know, the crime scene tech said, oh, well, there was no maybe there were fingerprints on cartridges. Maybe there were fingerprints of other people, but she's on drugs. Like, are you kidding me? Oh, I'm so excited. I'm attorney Roger P. Foley. Check it out on Law and Crime. Check it out on YouTube. You'll see the cross-examination. If you didn't get to see it live today, go on YouTube, type in Law and Crime. The name of the case is State of Florida versus David Hartung, Hartung. Check it out. I'm attorney Roger P. Foley. Just fun to watch someone else, another defense attorney, do their thing, a defense team that's doing their job outstanding. Wow. Oh, it was awesome. Thanks, guys, for listening.